Yo, football nuts. Big D is back on a Tuesday with another episode of the Big D podcast. Before I bring in Alex, please subscribe, like, and share the Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page where you can see my um, video with David Mulder from yesterday. Also, check out the Big D podcast, Spotify, and Apple. So, joining us.
I'm going to start with something close to home to you, Dylan. Your Jacksonville Jaguars, obviously, I think one of the main storylines this week. Obviously, they could not pull off the victory against the Houston Texans. It was a close game. They definitely had some opportunity there, but I think the main talking point, the main storyline is the hit that Trevor Lawrence took as he was sliding down on the run. Obviously, I think it was a dirty hit. I think everyone is pretty much on the same page there. He was fined 3 weeks. What is Azeez? What's his name again?
Suspended 3 weeks.
Or suspended 3 weeks. For the hit. He is appealing that. I don't think he's gonna have too much success on that appeal, but we'll have to see the result of that. But I guess let me just talk me through. I'm sure you were watching the game, Dylan. Talk me through your initial reaction to the hit, and what that what that kind of means moving forward.
I thought the hip was the worst hit I've seen all year. I think he should have gotten more than 3 games, especially because he's a repeat offender. He got
Yeah.
enough. He punched Rashawn Johnson week 2 against the Bears. He's gotten to multiple altercations. And, the NFL's trying. I understand, some people may say it's a late slide, similar to what happened when Kiko Alonso bailed into Joe Flacco, but
Yeah.
you know,
Honestly,
quarterback's giving up his body on the Trevor's giving up his body on the play, and yet you went not full. You didn't just dive over him. You went straight in there. You're not only hurting the other team's quarterback, you're potentially hurting your body.
exactly. I mean, it was. I think his quote was that he didn't see that he was sliding until it was too late. But
That was
either
bull crap. You knew what you were doing to me. Excuse me. His name is Azeez Al-Shaair.
yeah, yeah, I just found it myself. I mean, I think it's a pretty lame, cop out or excuse that he went with there. I think everyone could pretty much see that he had plenty of time to at least ease up or try and move out of the way. But it was a direct shot to the head. I don't think that there's anything he could say, that would have me questioning if that was an intentional hit or not. Because it just, as you said, he's got a record. It is not a first offense type thing. I mean, we've seen a couple different plays from him. I saw a compilation on Twitter the other day about how many, either borderline dirty or at least, hits to the head that, or punches, even like you mentioned, that, he in particular has been a part of. So, I think 3 games, as you said, if anything, it's light. He definitely deserves at least a 3, but I wouldn't have even been surprised if it was longer.
I mean, if it were me, he's suspended. Al-Shaair suspended for the rest of the year. Because I mean, you imagine if that's Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, if it's Patrick Mahomes, guy's probably never playing again in the NFL for the rest
I
of his
mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't be against that either.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the NFL is so inconsistent when it comes to suspensions and penalties, and they really do seem to go over the top on some things and hand out glorified wrist slaps for other things. I'm not necessarily. I would have been very surprised if it was even rest of season. I I think somewhere in the 3 to 6 game range would have been ideal and expected. I would say, just based on what the NFL does when it comes to punishments. If he had bet that he was going to knock out Trevor Lawrence for the rest of the game, he would have been done for the year, because we know the NFL is very strict when it comes to betting. Other things, not so much. But I think 3 could have been a little light. I wouldn't have been surprised at all if they gave him 6, and I think it was probably a hit deserving a 6. Anything more than that, I just wouldn't have seen that be the decision that Roger Goodell would have
The only problem is now Trevor's probably done for the year. But look, who the Jags have the next 5 weeks. I mean, we might end up playing games for the number 1 pick, not necessarily for quarterback, but we have Tennessee twice, the Raiders, Jets, and Indianapolis. So we might be trying for the number 1 pick.
Yeah,
but not for quarterback.
Right. Obviously, you don't want Trevor to get hurt. You don't want anything bad happening to him. But in the grand scheme of things, I think losing football games is in the Jacksonville Jaguars' best interest at this point. And so I think starting Mac Jones is a better recipe to losing games than starting Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, you don't want it to be in these circumstances. But if you look at the big picture in the future, I think, locking up as many notches in that loss column is probably going to be for the best for the Jaguars at this point. You're not coming back from 2-10. You're not making a playoff run. At the end of the day, winning 3 of the next 5, is that really helping you and finishing, maybe with a 7, 8, 9, 10 draft pick as opposed to, a top 1, potentially 2 or 3, in my opinion, at this point in the season, when you're sitting at 2-10, you want to be locking up the best draft pick possible. But obviously, you don't want anything bad to happen to Trevor, and you wish these weren't the circumstances, but you got to look at the big picture at the end of the day.